Hey there, my name is Nicholas Roberto and I'm 15 years old. I was born on the 28th November 1996 in Pittsburgh. This is also where most of my family is from and lives, which is why my dad is American. My mom is from Spain. I also have some family that lives there, in Spain. I have lived in the Arab world for my entire life, starting with Kuwait for 4 years, then Cairo for 2 years, then Qatar for 9 years. Moving to Cairo was a big event in my life. I was only 4 years old when I moved there. The lifestyle was very different to many other places I had visited, as it was a Muslim-based country. Arabic was spoken and heard on the streets. Experiences at home were very similar to the ones back in America, but I started to try different foods from different cultures. I soon started to adapt and get used to the lifestyle there. This made me realize that not only my culture was important in this world, so I needed to respect the manners and traditions of other cultures. These things impacted me because they allowed me to welcome specific parts of the cultural atmosphere of Egypt with open arms. After those 2 years, I moved here to Qatar and joined a British school called Doha English Speaking School. This was not an international school, therefore many pupils were from Great Britain. At this point, I started to learn French and I completely ignored and forgot the Arab culture. I realized the significance of knowing the culture after I left the school. I had perceived that I was unable to respect the cultural boundaries without knowing what the cultural boundaries were. After 4 years, I moved from the British school to an international school called Qatar Academy. There were many more locals in this school, which quickly induced me into remembering the Arab culture. These people started to shape my everyday life because I spoke Arabic and got used to their culture. Without this step into the realization of the true culture I was living in, I would never have been able to adapt to my surroundings and live a happy life here. Soon after, I visited America for my grandparents' 50th anniversary of their marriage. When I reached the ceremony wearing my suit, I saw all the factors of my religion and my culture. This changed my view of my background, culture, and my idea of my religion. From then onward, I preserved my culture in Doha. Later that year, I went to Spain for the summer of 2010. Unbelievably, Spain qualified for the finals against the Netherlands and won. Each goal was celebrated with a cheerful drink of beer or wine. After they won, my friends and I went down to the streets where we found absolute chaos. The streets were filled with cars playing loud music and people drinking whatever they found wherever they could, youngsters dancing in the streets, but mostly people waving the Spanish flag. Even though this was out of what I was used to, it started to attach to me, so I followed along. This took place well past midnight. At this stage, I realized the immense difference between the two different cultures, Qatari and Spanish. Here is where I realized to keep the best of both worlds and not to change my culture too much. This will help me get along with both cultures, and it also keeps me balanced and on a good steady path to a good life. I think my experiences have led to shaping my cultural identity into a more diverse one. I also think that these were positive effects. I have learned to be more open-minded. I have learned to be more respectful. I think that moving to Des was the only negative impact since it hindered my rapid expanding knowledge about the Qatari culture. However, I overcame it and became what I am today.